Good evening and welcome to Coach World TV. My name is Terry Yoffe, and tonight as my guest I have a very inspiring, very motivational, very lovely lady, Gail Blanke. Hi, Gail.
Hi, Terry. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so happy to have you. You have no idea. Gail is president, founder, chief executive officer of Life Designs, and Gail is a best-selling author, an executive and life coach, and renowned motivational speaker, plus many, many other things, which we will hear about tonight, I'm sure. And she has written 4 books, and one of the books is called, which is her latest, Throw Out 50 Things, Clear the Clutter, Find Your Life. Get it? If it went on, I don't know that it did.
We wanted to show you a cover of the book, Throw Out 50 Things, so you can go on throwout50things.com, F-I-F-T-Y, and you'll see the book and videos and everything that you need to know about letting go.
And what is more an appropriate subject matter than throw out 50 things for a new year?
Well,
So,
you know,
Gail?
This has been a tough year. 2011 was a tough year, and I think it's time to let go of the past and move forward. I think it's time maybe for us to stop asking that question that seems to have swept the country, which is how bad could it get? And instead ask, how good could I make it? I mean, if we're really good, what would that look like?
Right. Now, that's what we call a reframe in coaching terms.
Yeah, that's right, right?
Exactly.
Well, speaking of coaching, I use what I call the Michelangelo method. And you remember the story of Michelangelo shortly after he finished sculpting the statue of David, and
yes.
word went out that this was his greatest work, and there was a rich guy who lived nearby, and he thought, well, I'm sure it's terrific, but it can't be that good. And so he came to see Michelangelo. Michelangelo presented David to him, and the guy was completely blown away, transfixed, speechless. And finally, when he recovered himself, he said, I don't understand. How did you know to sculpt David? And this is when Michelangelo said that famous line, he said, well, David was always there in the marble. I just took away everything that was not David. That's my job as a coach. That's your job with yourself.
That is
To
really
let
rings
go and
true.
move forward.
Because I've also used that wonderful.
Oh, have you really?
Yes.
Oh, that's
yes.
good.
In a couple of years ago, actually, I used that in some of the things I did. It's so synonymous with what you do and what you do and what I do and what coaches do.
I think it's true for many of us, and I think that it's easy for what I call that life plaque to build up in our lives. You know, all the physical and all the emotional stuff that we pack around ourselves. And hey, you know, to Terry's point, this is a really perfect time to let go. And you know, you've got plenty of stuff to let go. It's not hard to throw out 50 things. Although I will say that magazines and catalogs only count as one, even if you throw out 300 of them. But it'll feel good,
It's
so
one.
you should do it. But
It's
you've got,
one.
you know, you've got those mismatched socks. You've got one earring, you don't know where the other one is. You've got that drawer in the kitchen. You know that drawer?
That drawer that we all
that
have.
drawer?
You
know
throw
what's in that
everything
drawer?
in.
Yeah, there's twisted things, there's dead batteries, there are dried up tubes of crazy glue, there are keys that haven't opened up anything in what, decades? Do you even know what they go to? So that's a good place to start. Start with the drawer in the kitchen, you'll get all energized, and then you can move forward.
If you're an OCD like me, throw out 50 things happens every day.
Oh, that's good. So you constantly edit?
Always.
Oh, that's really good.
You know, it's my way of like,
but that's good. Now, what about the emotional stuff?
That was my question to you.
Yeah.
Actually, my next question. We do all the tangible things. What about the intangible? Well, intangible meaning emotional, internal stuff. How can we recognize what that baggage or that plaque might be?
by the way, think of this as a kind of emotional flossing, okay? That's what this is about. But here's the good news. It's almost impossible to throw out anything physical, tangible, without there being a positive emotional benefit. You know, you throw out a too tight sweater, you can throw out a too small view of yourself.
Oh, wow.
And what happens when you start throwing out the physical stuff is you think, you know, as you look at that clean drawer or a closet you can actually find your way into, you think, hey, if I could do that, what else could I do? And then you start thinking of the old anger. Time to get rid of that. It's New Year. You don't want that hanging around. You think of the regrets, you know, that pop up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You think of old grudges. You know, it's what you want to think about when you are thinking about throwing out the physical and emotional stuff. It's just a few questions. One, do I love it? Whatever it is. It could be a set of dishes. Could be anything it is. Do I love it? And do I need it? Do I really need it? And am I going to use it? You know, that's a big, am I ever going to, I haven't used it for, I've worn it for 6 years. But and then here's a really good question. Is this something I really want to pass down to my children or the people I love? Now that could be, you know, a piece of furniture, an old rug, or an old grudge. Okay, you got to watch what you pass on. You also got to watch what you keep around you, because we are what we think about. And what we think about is heavily influenced by what we keep around ourselves.
That is so well stated, truly.
And the bottom line is, you know, you
almost
can't grow.
cry because it hits home for everybody.
It is.
Yeah.
And you can't grow if you don't let go. That's my mantra.
That is. And I let go of a lot of things when it comes to clothes. I have had clothes for X years that I finally said, do I really need these? And I really, this year, started cleaning out or taking them to the dressmaker and having them changed so that I could wear them.
Well, and it's, you know, it's really good when we say throw out, and you'll see in Throughout 50 Things that I'm talking about recycling, donating, or selling, because there's a whole resource guide in the book. And there's a lot of information on throughout50things.com about how to responsibly let go of anything. But it feels so good, particularly, you know, this time of year. I took so many things to our community center, and I just felt great, because if you're not using it, wearing it, whatever, right now, and somebody else could use it, love it, right this minute, then give it away.
Wholeheartedly.
Donating is just a wonderful thing to do.
So
right now.
Here's a question that I have. How do you feel about when people do clear out the clutter and clean out and throw out? What do you think happens to them internally as well? You touched upon it, because there is an inner and outer mirror here.
Yeah, I have to say that my aim for you is not for you to have the, you know, tidiest apartment in the building. My aim is for you to be free. Free and clear of anything that would hold you down, curb your enthusiasm, make you feel less good about yourself than you deserve to. Anything like that. This is the time to discard it and let it go. So the physical stuff enables you to build the energy. People say, oh yeah, I would throw out, I have lots to throw out, but I'm just too exhausted to do it. Just start with a drawer, start with your medicine chest, and you'll find that you get energy from it. You're not exhausted by it. By the way, the medicine chest is a great place to go.
The what?
The medicine chest.
Oh,
take a look at your medicine chest.
Yes.
Besides the expired stuff, you have old, you got your old makeup from your old look. But anyway, you have the old meds from old illnesses, old diseases. What are you keeping that stuff around for? You don't want, what are you inviting that illness to come back and get you? You're opening the door. Get rid of it. You're done with it.
And you can't even use it because it's so expired that, you know, nobody would.
You've got to let it go.
This is so germane and so important. I work with clients that are procrastinators, and for at least one that I'm working with, for her to clean out her office has been a year-long project. And she started finally, she said, I got rid of 2 boxes, and it started, you could hear the uplifting in her voice.
You can see it in somebody's face and hear it in their voice.
And I keep saying, if you could get yourself disciplined enough to really do that, you won't go down the rabbit hole so
good for you.
Much.
That's really good.
And it's just so near and dear to my heart, this whole subject.
Well, you know, if you really want to get into it, what's really interesting, and I love to tell the story of one woman, everybody I coach, I say, okay, I've got to go home and throw out 50 things. And people say, oh, I don't know, but they do it. They do it. And one woman, then they have to write it down and bring their list back so that I know that there's 50. Sometimes it's like a stand-up comedy routine when people present their list. Sometimes it's very moving. But this one woman came back and she said, I said, come on, what'd you throw out? She said, I don't want to talk about it. I said, come on, what'd you throw out? She said, okay, Gail, fine. I went home and I threw out the guy that I'd been living with for 11 years. And because he was what was weighing me down and holding me back and curbing my enthusiasm. And then she looked all worried. She said, so do I still have to throw out 49 more things? And I said, that'll do it for this week.
I love it.
Next week, you got to get cracking again. You got to get cracking again.
Because people might throw out tangible things, but they look at who's living with them, or even a work environment where leaving the work environment, I don't know how that plays in, would be a great, right, exactly.
That old job. You know, some of us were talking the other day about letting go in general of relationships. People even, relationships with people we're talking about who make you feel bad. Or, you know, those people who remember only the bad times, not the good times?
Yeah.
And make you feel, and are critical, and just at the moment when you need support, they're saying, you know, you could have done that differently.
Brother.
Don't you hate that?
I can't sit still in my seat, Gail. I'm sorry. I am just so enthused by this whole topic and how important it is. And I've said this already a few times today. I'm not trying to be redundant, but I'm like moving in my seat.
Yeah, and the thing is that this is the time to do it. And don't, you know, wait. A lot of us are waiting for, you know, for the planets to be aligned. We're waiting for the right moment. We're waiting for the dust to settle. We're waiting for
the overhead E-train to come by.
Yeah, that's right. We're waiting for the children to be older. One woman I was coaching said, well, I want to. I have a lot of stuff I want to do, but I just have to wait for my son to be a little bit older. I said, okay, how old is he?
2.
And she said, he's 30 now, but I just have to wait a little bit longer. I mean, some of us are waiting for the sign. In fact, you'll get a kick out of this. A woman blogged on Throw Out 50 Things that she'd been driving somewhere in the Southwest, and she drove by a church, and in front of the church was a sign, and the sign said, if you've been waiting for the sign, this is it. So if you've been waiting for the sign, this is it.
This is it.
Let it go.
Gosh. Can we segue a minute to how can businesses benefit from Throw Out 50 Things, and maybe a different length and breadth?
Well, it's
being the expert.
I think it's terribly important for businesses. This is a time for individuals and businesses. This is a time of reinvention. I mean, we have to reinvent. We can't become entrenched in the way we always did it, the way we always thought about it, who we always were. You know, you see companies, organizations having a tough time because they get stuck in the past. On the other hand, look at a company like IBM that has wonderfully reinvented itself under some terrific, innovative, visionary thinking. So I think any of our companies have to take a fresh look at what they do and how they do it and who they are, what they stand for. And I think that for us as individuals, in whatever work you do, or if you're a coach, you have to, I invite everyone to develop their own personal brand.
Yes.
And that is, okay, who are you uniquely, given who you are now, what you could be, what the world needs now, not what you always used to be, that is unique to you. So I have everybody complete this sentence. I'm Terry, and I'm the one who what? And complete that sentence in terms of, I'm the one who, brings this to my clients. I'm the one who delivers on this promise. I don't have to be everybody's everything, but
Absolutely.
I do deliver on this. And then you want to be able to say at the end of that sentence, and nobody does it better. That's what you want to be able to say. And, and I think so many of us, companies and individuals, try to be everybody's everything and think we have to please everybody. And so I always like to remember that old advertising mantra, which is this: if enough people love you, the ones who don't matter.
How true that
Whether
is.
you're a cola company, a car company, Donald Trump, Lady Gaga, whomever, if enough, or whether you're running for office, if enough people love you, the ones who don't matter.
Right. That's great wisdom, and I love the branding part of what you just said. Everything that, if we want to reinvent, reposition, redefine who we are.
Redefine, that's exactly the right word.
Yeah.
And now's a good time to ask that question. Who could I be now? And really open up the thinking. Get really, creative about it. It's fun. It's fun. You don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
And if you, I like to think about what do people need now, or whether I'm working with a corporation, whether I'm working with individuals, what do they really need? And that's why I'm so sort of set on getting rid of all the negative mindsets and the negative assumptions. I think we need to go from what's the worst possible case scenario to what's the best case scenario. Because don't you find that in the end you get what you expect in life from situations, from people? You do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have what I call positive expectations, you can change the energy in any room you walk into. You can walk into a job interview, a speed dating thing, whatever it is. But if you anticipate good stuff, that positive energy is around you, and you exude that. They even did a study at the University of London about people who had positive expectations and what happened in their lives versus the ones who had negative, who just assumed, well, this isn't going to work out. I mean, it didn't work out before, it's not going to work out now. And it was huge.
We all can fall into the mindset of, oh, this isn't going to, and I see myself doing that from time to time, whatever it is, it's, for me, I know it's a kind of a protection. If it doesn't work out, then it's a double-edged sword.
Well, we think, okay, I won't get my hopes up.
Right.
That way I won't be disappointed.
Right.
And I'm afraid what we do is we just, drive right into the headlights.
Yeah.
Because we're assuming the negative thing. Want to let go of something? Let go of assuming the worst. Let go of putting what I call negative interpretations on the things that happen in your life. They don't answer your email.
Oh,
okay.
No, that's always a good one.
But they don't answer your email. But then here's the question.
Right.
What do you make it mean?
Right.
You don't make it mean, oh, they must have really liked my idea. You make it mean maybe that wasn't such a good idea, actually. And then you say,
Or I
maybe
didn't
this
mean
whole
it,
thing,
or I wasn't relevant,
yeah,
or
maybe
you
it
know,
wasn't relevant. Maybe,
right.
maybe this whole thing I'm out for isn't really that good. Maybe I'm not that good. I mean, you take it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
only thing that happened was they didn't answer your email.
Right. And we made up a story.
We made up this whole story.
Right.
You don't even
Great
know.
story, but
I mean, it's like we're so efficient. We say, why wait to be unhappy when I can be unhappy now? I'll save time and go ahead and be unhappy. Then you find out that they were out of town or they had their own situation going on. Meanwhile, you've sapped all your energy.
That's, we all, and I include myself, even though I'm a coach, we go down that rabbit hole. It's like it's there, and we take a step, and whoop, we're there.
Somebody asked me recently, how do you think of all this stuff to write? Because I do what I call a Monday morning motivator that goes out every single
I'm going to
Monday.
hold it up. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's nice to do that.
I love Gail's Monday morning motivators. They are so targeted and so special and so inspiring that I don't look forward to Mondays, given the weekend, but I do look forward to her Monday morning motivators.
That makes me happy, too. Well, the idea, here's one thing to think about, one thing to let go of, one thing to grab hold of, just one thing for this week. So you make it not only a good Monday, but a terrific week. And it's about getting your energy and your optimism back.
Yeah.
And saying, okay, wait, you know, I can do this. In fact, maybe I'll think of things I didn't even know I knew, and I'll do those things. So, but anyway, someone said, how do you think of all this stuff? I've been writing these for 2.5 years. And I said, well, I have to watch myself. These are lessons I've learned and am learning myself. But if you'd like to get the Monday Morning Motivator, you can go on Throw Out 50 Things and just sign up for it, and it'll, you know, you have it delivered into your iPhone or your BlackBerry or whatever every Monday morning, and you can see what you think.
It's wonderful. Oh, one other thing, Gail, I've seen that you're in the media a lot. You're promoting, you know, the book Throw Out 50 Things. So tell us a little bit where you've been and what's been so exciting for you.
Well, I try to do media at the beginning of every year because this is, you know, a natural time. This in spring, when you're, you know, dumping the past. And so, let's see, just recently I've been on, well, just the other day I was on Good Day New York, and I was on a wonderful show on NPR. I love NPR, called Tell Me More with Michelle Martin. And let's see, in the last week or so, ABC Digital. I'm going to be on another NPR show coming up, not sure of the day, but all this is on Throw Out 50 Things. And did a piece not too long ago with Diane Sawyer.
Very nice.
About how your view of yourself can impact your wellness, your health and wellness.
Boy. Absolutely.
But it's a lot of fun to
stuff.
see if I can move people to create a life that's fulfilling and fun even, and of your own design, rather than, you know, what you think you're handed. You can change anything you want, let go of anything you want. There's nothing you can't let go of.
I think that's true. We think it starts with we have to be willing to look at it and to acknowledge that we can let go of it.
Yeah, you have to, that's a really, really good point. You have to believe that it's possible. But I can tell you, because I see this with people and groups of people all the time, it is possible. I see it all the time. There was a fellow on a call-in show who we were talking about what we're going to let go of, and he called in and he said, okay, Gail, I've decided I'm going to let go of my old conviction that no matter how hard I try or how hard I work, the future will never be as good as the past. And I said, can you do it? He said, I'm going to do it. I said, how? He said, I'm going to wake up every morning and remind myself that I no longer believe that. And he did. And he and I became email pals, and he has rebuilt his business. He's an entrepreneur. He's redesigned and rebuilt it. he had lost his wife, whom he loved very much, and thought he'd never, you know, fall in love with or love anybody else. He's found someone because he's open to it. So it's changing everything for him. It's just a wonderful story.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, what I want to say is, and people might be thinking, it's too good to be true. You know, that's a automatic reaction almost. And the truth is, I think if we set our minds to doing what we want to, and it takes discipline and perseverance, I believe we can. Just as Gail has talked about, she's the real authority here on this, and what we've talked about tonight, it is possible.
It is possible, and you need to go in with the attitude, again, it's positive expectations, that it can happen, that in the end, you get to decide. Now, I'll tell you one other thing that I think helps, okay?
Please.
Okay.
This is very inspirational for me,
okay,
only because I've had a situation where I'm saying it's not going to happen, and, you know, now I got to turn that off.
Yeah, yeah, and say, ask yourself this question, why wouldn't it be me? Why should it be somebody else to get the nod, to get the job, to create the business, to do the thing, whatever it is? Why wouldn't it be me? I mean, it's really important. So anyway, another place to get some courage and energy is from a song. Now, somebody in an audience I spoke to recently said, "What, a thong?" And I said, "No, a thong is good too, but a song. But you have to have a song, you know, that power song that does it for you."
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, no band of brothers or sisters ever went into battle without the fifes, the drums, the horns, the raised voices going first. So you got to have a song. I mean, everybody I work with, I ask them, what's their song? I mean, one guy who was creating a business and was sort of losing a bit of courage, he decided his song was My Sharona for some reason. You can go out and throw out 50 things and see this gal at GE whose song is Build Me Up Buttercup. That's, you know, that's what does it for her. There's a guy who runs a huge global company, and he's a very classic kind of guy, and his song is the Triumphal March from Aida. So that's what does it for him.
Oh, wow.
Mine, by the way,
yes, let's hear yours.
Mine is I'm the Greatest Star.
Oh,
from
gosh.
Funny Girl.
I love that.
I am by far, but no one knows it.
Yeah, I have a couple, but before we close tonight, I know it's gone by like so quickly, we could spend another hour.
What's
probably.
your song, though?
Oh, God, I don't.
Well, you can think of it and tell me.
I will.
Okay,
I will do that, but I wanted to say thank you for this wonderful, inspirational interview and just being here and talking about all these wonderful things. It's throw out 50 things and start your new year.
Yes, and expect the absolute. This is going to be a good year, by the way. It really is. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
For having me.
Thank you.